Absolute Radio.
Hello, Mr. Radio.
Yes, indeed. It's Not the Weekend podcast here on the Absolute Radio Network with Frank Skinner, Alan Cochrane, and the lovely Miss Emily Dean. Oh, yeah, and I'm feeling pretty laid back and very radio today.
You've started this with kind of a World Service tone to your voice.
I have, yeah, I am. I hope they can hear us in the deserts of
I imagine
Gambia.
there's people in Namibia now learning English from this.
Do you know,
Do you think
we
so?
have
That'd
a
be
very
brilliant.
large OS fan base.
Oh,
Is that right? We do have quite a lot. Yeah, we always get...
quite a few,
Yeah, you're right. But I don't think we've had anything from the deserts of Gambia. I wouldn't put money on the fact that they had deserts. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I bet that very few of them have deserts.
I've probably got a family member over there. I'll look into it.
Yeah, could you?
Yes.
That would be lovely. So, here's what happened to me this week, or not everything, as that's going to be a long and tedious, and in many ways obscene podcast.
We'd have to change tape so many times.
We'd change tapes. I think we'd have to change broadcast.
I'm delighted to hear it.
Yeah. So what? We're changing broadcast? You can't say that. What do we have an Absolute Radio? People think, why did they put a jingle in there? I don't know. That was Matt Berry trying to tell people he's trapped in a lift. How about anyone out there? I'm trapped in a lift. So, I arrived. I'm working in Camden at the moment. I've got a stall on the market. Nose rings.
I thought you had quite a lot of eyeliner. It's all gone a bit Phil Jupiter's.
That's a bit. Yeah. I'm researching a short story. No, I'm not. It's something an extra said to me once on doing a thing in this extra camera. And said, "Don't you think I'm just an extra? I'm researching a short story." I said, Get away from me. Because you can beat around the bush, but you might as well just get it over with.
I never trust anyone who says they're doing anything for research, but let's continue.
Yeah.
No. I had exactly the same conversation with...
Careful.
Insert name here.
Yeah, exactly.
Move on.
Have we got the bleeper?
Who's that fertility bloke with the big
Oh,
moustache?
Dr. Robert Winston.
Yeah, I had the same thing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God you're here as my aide-de-memoire. My aide-de-memoire. So, I got into these offices where I'm writing stuff and I'm working with like the producers and like, you don't need to know the details. What do you care what I'm doing? And I arrived and this woman who worked there said, "Oh God, did you see that coach across the road?" I said, I don't know. I just walked down the road and there was a big She said there was like a crowd round it. She said it had about 50 like supermodels and they were all getting off and going into that hotel. Oh. And I sort of, part of me wanted to turn and run out into the street hysterically, but I thought, I can't do that. She'll think I'm some sort of sexist. So I said, "Oh, blimey, that must have been a bit of a sight." She said, "There's loads of people. They just looked up. So they're coming off the coach one after the next. Just looked amazing." I said, "Blimey," and I had to be all hangdog about it. Well, I was desperate to go out, and I know if I'd have gone out, the coach would have been pulling away. And I'd have just seen a silhouette of one, like, 6-foot woman disappearing into the hotel and been a terrible fool myself. Like that first short story in James Joyce's The Dubliners, when he's taken to that, thing and all the stalls are closing down. It would have been like that.
It would have been very like that.
It would.
What on earth they were doing at this all-on-one coach, these supermodels? I don't know if Thursday morning is their swimming lesson. Do they learn on... Some of them did have rolled up towels. I've heard that. Probably with their cossies in.
Are you sure, or was it yoga mats? They might have been going for their yoga class.
It could have been. Yeah, but
I smell Charlie Sheen. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just polished this desktop. Well, perhaps you'd know, Em, because why would 60... I mean, she said they didn't look like... They weren't like, glamour models. She said they all looked like
they were
catwalk.
proper models.
Catwalk.
Oh.
Do they work as a group? Do they
Well,
hunt in packs?
Did they chain gang them
This was-
when they're not working?
This was last week.
This is Thursday.
Oh, you see, Paris Fashion Week was over. All the fashion weeks are over, so I don't
Or
know.
did they put them into storage? There wasn't they don't coal them after the fashion weeks, do they? Oh, no.
I think I've worked out what it is.
Go on.
What? Tell.
In the Camden area, there is a very,
Abattoir.
very she online retailer called My Wardrobe. A bit like that posh one, Net-a-Porter, it's all designer clothes. I suspect they were shooting some sort of catalogue, upmarket catalogue.
What, with that many models on the same coat?
Very possibly,
Oh,
yeah.
how is that going to help the break even?
Where did they
hire
leave
3?
from as well? Or was it like a school coach? Did they go around, do they all have to gather at points like that?
Just hire 3 and have them change clothes. It might take about half an hour longer.
I wouldn't imagine it'd be very fun, you can't imagine there being
No.
a sing-song,
Right, yeah.
can you? And when we used to go on the swimming coach, we used to do our bare bums at the back window, and I
Yeah.
mean, what would be the point? A supermodel?
No.
That,
Well,
it wouldn't really be mooning, it'd be more like meteoriting with their tiny, hard bottoms. I mean, you wouldn't get any spread against the glass. Is that mooning? I don't think so. You'd barely leave any steamage. You know what I mean? It'd be hard.
Some of them might have hot bums. They might.
Do you
Might
think?
be a bit of steam worked up, depending on how much of a temper they've got. Some of them have fiery temper.
Yeah, but I imagine that all comes out their ears.
Well, they get the hanger, don't they?
They get the hanger. Oh, hanger. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Of course,
the
yeah,
hanger.
because they're
They'd be
not
starving.
eating. I hadn't thought about that.
Producer's nodding very sagely as I say this.
Imagine if one of the members of staff that wasn't a model on that bus opened a bag of crisps. It'd have been like vultures pouncing on there, wouldn't
I
they?
don't think it would. I think they'd have fled. I think they'd become afraid of food, those women.
Oh, poor things. Poor little lambs.
But that sense of just missing out like that,
I know.
just,
Oh, yeah.
Matter of seconds.
it would have... I'll tell you something, though. I think one of the things I miss most nowadays is missing stuff.
I know what you mean.
You're
No,
not missing
because
stuff enough.
everything is filmed now. It just
Yeah.
everything I do. If I go and do a little gig in a club, there'll be a camera on a tripod at the back. When I spoke to the Archbishop of Canterbury, all MP3 and that all on the internet.
Yeah.
Everything you do now, the concept of live, the concept of an audience having an exclusive thing that no one else shares apart from the people there, that's gone. Wedding speeches, best man,
Yeah.
all filmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, telly. Used to miss telly all the time. If you weren't
Yeah.
sitting there was no Tomorrow's World for you if you went there at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Not only that, if you miss actually an incident on the telly now, you can rewind it and watch the...
It's mind-blowing, that.
Yeah.
I
I
do
used to
find
like
that.
missing stuff.
Yeah.
It made you feel real.
I still have that logic. Like, quite often I will forget to rewind the telly. If I just think, I wish I'd listened to that bit of...
Is
when
there
you
a
sort of-
limit on how far you can rewind it?
about 3 weeks or something.
Well,
No, I don't
no,
know.
I watched the 1968 Cup final the other day. But it took ages. It took ages to get back there. Well, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it, if you could write back. Hold on, did I just miss Moffin the Mule in 1955? And then you want to get it onto 30. You
Oh,
don't want to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Don't,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think 12 will do.
No.
No.
If you overshoot, you can always go back. You know what I mean?
Just seeing a lot of Thatcher walking backwards.
Yeah.
Really fast in the 80s.
But once you see the trailer for what would it be in those days?
It wouldn't be the Blackberry, would it? It'd probably be the Berry.
Yeah, the berry. I think the berry. A lot of shows.
Berry.
A lot of the shows were sponsored by Basic Food Stuff.
Try fruit.
Well, they used to advertise milk on the telly. They just say try some
That's
milk.
what Ian Rush drinks.
People would say, eat cheese. That's the kind of adverts.
Yeah.
They were. They hadn't.
They're very basic.
No, they hadn't
Ham.
separated.
It's lovely. That's what
It was like that. Eat animals. You choose. That was the adverts.
Good. I'd be good at advertising.
Actually,
in those
You
days,
Choose
wouldn't
was the very popular lamb-based choose. Oh dear. So,
I have that same thing of just missing out, though. The other day I got back, I think I've been staying away working, as I do, sometimes up to 20 minutes.
You're
a
one of
night.
those monkeys.
Yeah, one of those monkeys. not roofing. I do
In Shiplake.
I do an hour of entertainment, 2 on tour,
Do you?
but not too much. But I got back
Well, that's your opinion.
and my wife said, "Oh." You've been reading my reviews again.
I wrote 3 of them. I mean, I used the nom de plume.
Good, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I had one on top of my turban. Large jewel with a big nom de plume on the top. Keep going.
But, I got back into the house, and my wife said, "Oh, I've just made myself a cup of tea. If you'd been 2 minutes earlier, I'd have made you one. But the kettle's just boiled if you want to get yourself a cup of tea." And it was that, by the narrowest of margins.
That window.
Still made myself a cup of tea, which was fine, but wouldn't it have been nicer to have had a tea made for me?
It would have been, I mean, to arrive and literally it was just boiling and that would have been
I'll
brilliant.
make you a cup of tea, that would have been great.
I think, to be fair, she could have still made you a cup of tea.
Yeah, well, the divorce proceedings are in the pipeline.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm overreacting, though, do you?
Well, I mean, she was already in that mindset of tea making. It wouldn't have been a big stretch, would it?
She had
Well,
sat down.
it is always tricky when
She
someone...
sat down. I love that. I've sat down now.
Well, why can't you get up again?
Yeah, but I understood. I just thought, well, you're in the comfy seat.
No, I think they do have those seats. I don't know if you've been to the Cockerel's house. They have those seats that they have on the big rides at Alton Towers, and
Yeah.
that big thing comes down and keeps you in.
Yeah,
So
she was
it
in
is.
for a good couple of minutes.
You can't stand up. You're not allowed to stand up.
I just found a lot of old sawdust there in the barn.
Anyway, that was that.
Frank, I'd like to talk to you about the Duchess
I'm
of Alba.
fine with that. Oh, the Duchess of Alba.
Yes.
Oh man, she's special.
Oh, she is special.
Oh man, yeah, she's. I have a soft. I think we all have a soft spot for her. She's a bit of a hero in Spain. I think.
Yeah, she has so many titles. I think she has the most titles in the world.
She has more titles than Waterstones.
Yep,
Yeah.
WBA, champion of the world.
Yes, exactly. She's united all the titles into one big title. We should say she's an 85-year-old, very, very rich
Very rich.
Spanish lady.
Not even nearly enough verries there in terms of the richness.
Yeah,
was
no,
there?
she's-
Yeah.
Is
She's
she a billionairess or
Yeah.
something? I mean, that's proper money, isn't it?
And this is her third wedding, and she's 85.
Yeah, she has been widowed twice, hasn't she? I think.
Yeah.
She's not moving on.
no, no, I think she must have took the mask off.
Yeah, but what's going on with the face?
She's had a bit of work, I
I
think.
think she's had a lot of work.
I'll tell you what she looks like, and I don't wish to be unkind.
Okay, prepare to hear something very unkind, everyone.
You know those pencil trolls? You know those ones with the long hair that you used to have on the end of your pencil? She
Yes.
looks exactly like one of those.
And probably once upon a time she looked like the woman in the pencil that you turned the pen upside down and it
Yeah.
undressed. Probably.
Oh, well, I never
Yeah.
had one of those. That was more of a biro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're familiar with the concept, I know.
Oh, I know the concept.
the
Yeah, I had
undressing
one.
pen, she
I
probably
actually
wanted
had one with the Pope mobile on it, which I bought in
Did you?
Rome. Used to go up and down. I mean, he stayed fully clothed. Don't get me wrong.
Frank, don't get that out in front of the most reverend.
What
The AC. The AC won't like
no,
that.
No, you're quite right. No, but yeah, she does look like a pencil troll.
Right.
She does. I'd love to see her straddling a giant 2HB. But who wouldn't?
Well, give it time.
Well, as long as you had a Rob.
Frank! She's, the Barnet.
I mean, she's amazing
Phil
looking.
Spector.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that footage of her dancing at her wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the slowest flamenco. You know, when they do that flamenco and there's a lot of, with the feet and all that. There was none of that.
No, it was a lot of hands, wasn't it? And there was a point where she was doing the flamenco where I thought of Emily, because I couldn't help but think of your arthritic claw when you're getting embarrassed. I wasn't sure whether she was dancing or she'd just remembered some of the things she'd said in
I
her
wasn't sure she
85
was dancing. It looked like a very super slow-mo flamenco replay. If there was a sort of flamenco match of the day, and they had
Do
like...
you know, Frank, when you're knocking on as well,
she's
try and
knocking on.
avoid a sort of bandage colour for the dress.
Yes, well, she's ever at home in a bandage.
I thought she could have really raised the stakes there. 85 years old and deliberately got married in pure white. I thought that would have been good fun. Good on her for a
Well,
laugh.
it would have gone with her hair. She hasn't dyed her hair, though, as far as I can tell. She's sort of thought, I'll let that
No.
get old.
I'll let that get on, but I don't know, though.
I
mean,
wish she'd gone long, straight and orange with it and done the full troll work.
I tell you what, though, the husband, he's a bit of a fox.
He's not,
He's very handsome,
can you be a toy boy at 61?
I was going to say, he's no spring chicken himself,
No.
is he?
But he looks really, he's dashing.
He's
roguish.
dashing. Oh, he's lovely.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say no to that. There's not...
I bet there's still some lead in his pencil. Which is very apt.
Well, she didn't want people to think, in case she paid off the... Well, I say paid off, that makes it sound like some horrible arrangement. But she did sort of have to give the children their inheritance early.
Yeah.
Understandably, they were somewhat concerned by the stranger.
They thought he was some sort of...
Fortune hunter.
yeah, that's what they thought.
Gold digger.
Not fair. It's a big...
digger.
I mean, he will get some money, though, if anything happens to her, presumably. I like the idea that he just loves her.
I think I don't think he does get any money out of it. I think he's waived his right to any.
I think
he's
he
said,
has.
no, I'm not bothered. I'm in it for the fun.
Yeah. I mean, it just...
For the fun time.
I just want to get some pictures of me and her on MySpace. I can understand that. I mean, at 85, though. You know, I don't know how long they went out. They go out for a long time.
They met at a Madrid cinema. I know quite a lot about it. They met at a Madrid cinema.
How do you meet someone at a cinema? It's dark. And there's a film on.
Oh, why do you think she managed to pull him back?
It wasn't that dark. Did the film break down?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Is she a Spanish version of like a 5 to 2-er? You know? Like in a nightclub.
what's that mean?
You know, 5
I
to
see what you
2-er.
mean. Which, yeah, you could be right. You'd need more than beer goggles. But we shouldn't be unkind.
No.
I mean, no. I like the idea that if you're dating an 85-year-old, you know, and they're 20 minutes late, you don't think, I've been stood up, you think they're dead. It's a different way
I'll
of
move
dating.
on.
Exactly. What am I going to do? They're dead.
45 minutes and you're already scouring about for someone else.
Well, I don't know about... I think, you know, you don't phone the hospital, you phone the mortuary. I mean, it is, though. You know... Imagine saying to her, you know, after the wedding night, would you like breakfast in bed tomorrow? Well, let's wait and see. Let's not commit too early.
Don't make any promises we can't keep.
Oh, I do hope there's something lovely about it. I love the idea that he does really love her.
I love that.
It's
Yeah.
not a money thing.
And I have no problems with the age gap. I think, you know, there's apparently a 26-year age gap, and I think for the people that have a problem with that, if she was to just go out with a 26-year-old as well, would that be fine? Like, she could even it up by just having...
Well, exactly.
I'd think less of her, to be honest.
But
I
then she's
like a
it's fair
Twilight
on
romance,
aggregate,
though, because I also think it seems more sensible. You know what you're getting. You're not spending every day thinking, oh, I hope they age all right.
Did you see like a toilet romance?
No, I do. But I also like a Twilight romance.
Oh, a Twilight romance. Yeah.
Because then you don't, and also the sort of ennui factor doesn't set
Well,
in.
there's a lot of that.
Oh, there's plenty of that. She's got a bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think she has. I think he just runs down the pencil. Anyway,
But it
good.
does,
If they're listening.
There's a certain logic to it, because one of the things that I've always thought was weird was when people pay granny prostitutes, because I just don't
Is that what
get
they pay
it.
grannies nowadays?
But you know what I mean when people go to granny prostitutes? It always confuses me.
Hold on. Can we say prostitutes then? We can. Okay.
Surely, it's a word, isn't it?
I'm uneasy, but carry on.
Okay. Well, that's my point being that I just don't think there's any point in that, because I like him think I could still pull a granny. I think, you know, why pay for what you could get by just a few whispered kind words on a cold evening,
Exactly.
playing bingo and being nice.
Yeah, but to
being
be
nice.
honest, it's just a subtle diplomatic way of just giving them a few bob. You know, they're all living on the breadline now, the grandmas.
Oh, right.
Just see you put that in your pocket. It's like that. It's a nice,
What's
you know
with
what I mean?
that?
Yeah. You know what I mean, though? It's here's 20 quid. Here. No, Avi. Get yourself some biscuits. It's not sordid.
Go down the elder condemned food shelf.
Yeah, it's condemned food.
Yes.
No, I think that's an act of kindness. And a lot of it's dressed up as whoring.
You can say that, but not prostitute.
Well, I'm not sure about. I'm uneasy. I'm
Okay.
desperate to move on.
All right.
Well, good. Because we can talk about me on the tube.
Oh, that's...
Extraordinary.
Okay, you on the tube?
I was on the tube, yes. Last week I went on the tube.
You?
Yes,
Tube?
I did go on the tube.
No, I said you. Tube.
Oh, yeah.
Rihanna was on the tube as well not so long ago.
I saw that.
Rihanna was on the tube.
Yeah.
She got the tube to her gig.
And the
Blimey.
papers were
Yeah.
excited about it.
She was topless in a field in Northern Ireland. She's on the... Is she the new face of Where's Wally?
Either that or the career is on the decline.
Yeah.
She's on the
She's
tube.
gone from being
She
shooed
was.
out of being fields to catching the tube, yeah. So
It makes sense though. It's much quicker, isn't it?
to get to the O2.
Or do you think it
by-
was a
by
publicity stunt?
I think
Maybe
it was a publicity stunt, and we'll be able to find out if the papers are just as keen on the news that I'm going to go to my gig at the Bloomsbury Theatre on a Boris bike. We'll see if they're that interested then, eh?
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, unlike Rihanna, my trip didn't pass without incident. I had 2 incidents.
2.
Hang on. Unlike Rihanna, my trip didn't pan. I'm just trying to work my way through all those negatives, see where we end up.
You'll find there's a lot of negatives in my speech.
Oh, okay.
So I saw a lady, Frank. It's not strange in itself, you may say. But a gentleman gave up his seat for her. So whenever that happens, I look over. I'm a little bit Helen Mirren in Prime Suspect. I just want to be a bit forensic and check if the bump's there, you know?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I didn't see a bump. I saw maybe a 3-course lunch the day before. I didn't see what I'd
What
call
are
a
you,
pregnancy.
X-ray vision?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty forensic, I told you.
Okay.
So I thought, why has he given his seat up? She sat down. She was reading a book. It was called After the Birth.
Oh, okay.
Well, to me, that's fairly scant evidence on which to give you a seat up. Well, I then sat next to this woman. Well, I grabbed that seat when I saw it because I wanted to examine what she was doing. She was reading the book, and she was making, like, little proof marks, like extract. And I thought she was obviously like an editor or what for a match. She was obviously adapting it or in publishing.
Did you smell any wine
She was
on
a
her breath?
charlatan. She was a complete charlatan. She didn't deserve that seat, Frank.
No, but he might have just been standing up for a lady. He might not have thought... I mean, it's quite
It
a
was-
risk, isn't it, standing up because someone's pregnant, because they might just be fat.
She was she was a
One of my
journalist.
favourite games to play in public is pregnant or fat.
It's a lovely
Fat.
game. We should maybe phone Waddington, see if they could make it a board game.
I honestly think it could be a TV series because
Oh.
with a theme tune, pregnant or fat, red or black worked.
It could be like...
That's true.
It could be like blankety blank.
Yeah.
Pregnant or fat, pregnant or fat, pregnant or fat, pregnant
See?
or fat, pregnant or fat. Yeah.
We play pregnant or fat quite a lot.
I don't think it's a kind game. What if it was overheard
Yeah.
by the target?
Well, you have to play it subtly.
Okay. You got a big
I
thing
don't
with
want the
P
wrath
on.
of Chunky on me, do I? When I'm on the tube, do
You
I?
never want the wrath of Chunky.
No.
No.
But Frank, I just thought, frankly, I thought she was despicable.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry, I think she's the worst woman in the
What,
UK.
the copywriter?
Yes,
Copyright woman.
because you can't. That guy thought she was pregnant. She was a journalist who'd eaten too much. That is not pregnant.
No, but she might have been sparing in the embarrassment of saying, "Oh, actually, I'm not pregnant." Because if you did that, he'd have thought, "Oh God, I've got it because she's."
clutching her stomach like a Victorian melodrama.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Well, that was incident 1. Incident 2.
I stood up for an 85-year-old lady last week.
God.
Did you think she was pregnant?
Now they played. I was watching Montenegro, England. They played the national anthem. I always stand up for the national anthem at home when I watch a
Do
game.
you?
I do. I stand and I stand up and am silent for the minute if there's a minute's silence before a game on the telly.
I respect that.
I do the minute's
Yeah.
silence, and at the end of the minute's silence, I always go, "Come on, come on," which is what people always do at the end of minute's silence, which I've never really worked out. But that's the respect out the way.
Poor Cabby.
Let's get aggressive again. The cat's got used to it now.
No, well, exactly. So incident 2, Frank, sitting next to a man. He didn't seem that remarkable looking, if I'm honest, but then he whipped out a book, and it was an actor's script. I got very excited.
How can people do that? I've seen that before. I think if you're an actor,
Yeah.
you can't get your script out, can you? Isn't that just the most hoity-toity thing ever?
Quite actory.
It was.
Well, it certainly is.
Well, I tell you what else he had, Frank. He'd whipped out one of those highlighter pens. You know when actors mark down their dialogue? He'd done that quite
he'd done all
pointedly.
that. See,
He
you
did all that.
don't do it at home.
No.
Get a room.
Yeah.
Get a rehearsal room. That's what I'd have shouted at him. So did you Did you get to gawp at what the script was?
Oh, what do you think? Of course I did. Well, I looked at the characters' names. I was straining my eyes. And I'm hoping you guys can help me, because I can't work out what this play is. Is it an existing play? So the characters were, the dramatis personae, were Stubbs, character called Stubbs, character called the Ambassador, and Betjeman. Betjeman, as in Sir John Betjeman.
Okay.
Now, it all seemed very strange. I tried to look at the dialogue. I think he might have been Stubbs, the actor. But the Ambassador, all I saw, his one line of dialogue I saw was, "Of course you did."
You see, I think it's... Didn't Sir John Betjeman do a Ferrero Rocher advert with Una Stubbs?
Playing herself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, that sort of... Una Stubbs. Left shoe's loose, but her right shoe rubs. What it'd be like, wouldn't it? A little bit of Sir John Betjeman there on the idiosyncrasies of Una Stubbs footwear. Yeah. Although, I mean, it's probably some obscure play.
Well, I wondered whether Mike Reid had a hand in it.
Oh.
He's very fond. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but do you know Mike Reid? I only call him Sir Mike Reid.
Not Mike Reid of not Frank Butcher. Mike Reid,
No.
the pop quiz Mike Reid.
Do you know Mike Reid, who used to present Saturday Superstore and was a DJ?
I know who
He
he
put
is
on a
now.
play, didn't he, Frank, about Betjeman?
Did he?
Oh yeah, that's one of his favourites.
He did.
And he did Oscar Wilde.
He did Oscar Wilde. That
And Sir John Betjeman.
ran for one night, if one can use the word ran.
I think Sir John Betjeman was about 3
Is
nights.
that right?
Yeah,
Oh, well, it could have
yeah.
been. Maybe that's being brought back.
Yeah.
He did say his time would come. I presumed he was discussing some sort of execution, but maybe that's
Is this Benjamin?
that's
Or
incorrect.
Mike Reid?
I know. So if anyone knows, I'd like our listeners. They might be familiar
Somebody
with this.
might. Yeah, there might be
Yeah.
someone who's working on it.
What if he's a
Might be a
listener?
He won't be a listener, will he?
Why not?
How old is he?
I'd say he could play. Probably
age.
playing age, anything from 38 through 50.
Okay, so it's like the breakthrough years for Sir John Betjeman if he's got that part.
Do you think on the actor's CV it says can grow a full beard? Do you
Yes.
think he's how quickly?
I suspect in his spotlight photo, there's one picture. There's with hat, without hat,
Nice.
which shows a versatility.
I hope that's true.
Frank, he got off at the Angel Islington, which is a quite sort of trendy artsy borough, isn't it, in London? I smelt Fringe.
Yeah, I'm smelling.
To be
Fringe.
honest.
I'm smelling Fringe.
Yeah, off Broadway.
yeah, he's off. Can grow a full beard in 3
But
days.
he deserves what he gets, really, for reading his script on the tube. I think that's unacceptable.
He might. Well, he was probably at work for the rest of the day, wasn't he?
No, but you know, there's things you
Probably
just
not
don't...
making the
There's
living.
things you don't read on the tube. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I'm
Like
always
Men Who Hate Women and the Women Who Love Them. I only did it once.
Yeah. don't want to be reading that. But, I mean, I wouldn't read the Book of Mormon
Yeah.
on the tube. Because, you know, people... You know, you're going to end up leaving with 7 or 8 girlfriends.
On a good journey.
Yeah, on a good journey. And covered in salt. No, I don't know. I think some of it is ostentatious.
I think you're right.
I don't have a tube story, but I have a metro story. The other day, after coming back from the show in London, I went back to Manchester where I live, and there's now a metro, and I took a little gamble because it's only recently opened where I live.
How are you spelling that gamble? You didn't just take a little gamble with excitement.
Both ways, actually.
Oh, like a lamb.
I jumped onto the metro without a ticket. I'm going to admit it, thinking, because it's there, I'll just jump on, and it's not many stops. I'll risk it, and if I get caught, I'll say it's only just started here, and I don't.
Do you think that's what that bloke thought about the Duchess of Alba?
Yeah, it's only a few stops.
If it's there, I'll jump on, and it's only a few stops.
Anyway, I'm on, thinking, right, let's get going. And then the metro doors got held open by some guys in Metrolink jackets, and I thought, the game's up, I'm going to get rumbled. And then they hold the doors open for an entire wedding party to get on. This is true.
Congering.
No, they weren't congering. They all get on.
I thought that's how they travel, generally.
I was delighted that it was the wedding party rather than just a ticket inspection, because I was standing there. I'm already rehearsing stories like, oh, I just didn't have the chance and I've forgotten.
I've got Mr. Loophole's number. I think he does tube journeys as well.
Too dear. I'd rather just pay the fine. And then the wedding party get on with photographers from the Manchester Evening News, and I'm now staring at my feet thinking...
Oh, so it's a theme, the Metro weddings.
Well, what it was, they're the first wedding party that used the Metro or something, that line. And then I'm standing there, and the tube starts moving, tube, Metro, you know what I mean, tram.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and the groom comes up to me and puts his hand out and goes, "The cockerel. Good to meet you."
Really?
No.
Yeah, turns out he's a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and he was really nice about the show, and I had to confess to him, look, I feel a bit self-conscious because I haven't got a ticket, and you've all got aboard, you and your wedding party, and the assembled photographers of the MEN. But it was all fine, and he seemed like a nice bloke. I can't remember his name now. David, I think, maybe. But David, hello, and congratulations.
You could have got lost in the throng anyway.
Yeah, I was hoping to blend in. Hard, though, because they're gangly.
Did they tie tin cans and that to the back of the Metro?
I don't think so.
They should have gone ribbons. And
that would have been a nice touch, wouldn't it?
yeah, I like all the old traditions.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. Missed the opportunity,
I
haven't
think the Duchess of Alba actually threw the wreath at her wedding.
There was a guitar
Yeah.
made out of flowers and mum.
Yeah. So, what else?
I'll tell you what else.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Average is what else.
Mr. Average.
I know that sounds like a curious sentence, but Frank, apparently, have you read this? There was a study recently. It says 6 out of 10 women actually prefer Mr. Average to. They describe it as a tall blonde Adonis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, apparently, it's saying that women want more dependable, kind of nice, low key men. They're actually off the idea of the big beefcake.
And shorter as well, apparently, isn't it?
Yeah.
Under 6 foot rather than over 6
Oh, yeah.
foot. I think that's a bit 70s now to want a fella over 6 foot. That's gone. Now it's under 6 foot.
I bet Mr. Average had a terrible shock on his wedding night. Oh, no, sorry, that was Mr. Average. Well, there is I spoke to a behaviourist on a TV show, what I did. And we spoke about this very phenomenon. Phenomenon. And he, the theory behind it is, if you can take all these things back to the caveman days, right? And with the cavemen, there was the big honky, as you say, the blonde Adon. I don't know how many blondes there were.
No, and Mark Little's interesting on this.
Yeah. And, you got the blonde savages, not like I can't strictly come dancing. You got the honky, strong, sexy savage men, and then you got the equivalent of your modern day sort of Mr. Average, bit gentle. And the women were happy to have like wild, physical pleasure with the big men, but the reason they went for your average is they hang around and they look after your children and blah, 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 whereas the other one moves on. Yeah.
They do more. They're better around the house.
Yeah, and they'll bring home, the velociraptor. I mean, preferably dead, unless they're being pursued. But, the other one, he'll be off. Yeah.
Fighting other battles. Yeah, I can't help but think that this research was done by several average men. That's my feeling on this.
Although,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm much more into the average man now.
Are you?
Yes, my requirements have changed. I've decided that very good-looking people, Frank, they're not going to be around. They're not going to change a bedpan when you get older, are they? Really?
Oh, no.
They're quite selfish, good-looking people. I'm not suggesting that you two aren't good-looking. Both got a lovely, quirky charm.
No,
going on.
I accept that I'm not good-looking. I'm fine.
I'll accept
I absolutely accept it. You're better looking than me.
Quirky charm. We both got quirky charm there.
Well, I don't know if I've got quirky charm anymore. I've got
You look miserable at said that.
Yeah, I think my quirky charm has dissolved into the mire.
Wow.
I think your exceptional personalities make you both very handsome in my eyes.
I was just thinking I've got a few bob. But, yeah, but then, of course, our personalities. But, yeah, I think it's... I know what you mean. I'll tell you something I've noticed, is I don't really notice... you know when you sort of notice women in the street?
Yeah.
I don't mean in a horrible, salacious way, but it's in our natural instincts to at least look admiringly.
Yeah.
I've started looking at women in my age group and not really bothering with the youth,
Yeah.
which I think is quite peculiar.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard a rumour that you wouldn't even spot a coach load of supermodels if it was right under your nose.
Well, that's absolutely true. You think I'd have smelt the nail varnish coming off them. Yeah. In my end is my beginning. We couldn't get a more perfect end to this podcast. So we'll just list the credits. The Not the Weekend podcast was presented by Frank Skinner, Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. It was produced by Emma Newman. And now this is a problem because I can't... Is it Sadaric? What is it? And it was also assistant produced by Sarah...
So,
Sausages! Is that what you said? Sesadich. Yeah, Sesadich. There you go. That's the ending. It's like that bit, you know, when you watch a band and you think this is a good gig and the bloke says, on drums we have... And you think, oh, I hate this bit, but we'll clap and get it done. You know, you've been paid. Just shut up about who you are as individuals. So that's it. And I'm looking for an ending.
I think you've been paid to shut up about who you are as individuals. I can't think of anything better.
Okay, then. Maybe we could get that knocked up onto a T-shirt.
Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner.